My dear Cancer, let's have an honest conversation about your weaknesses. Not to shame you, not to pull you apart, but because knowing where you struggle is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Every sign carries a shadow side. Yours just happens to be one of the most deeply felt. So let's name it, sit with it, and figure out what you can actually do about it. The first weakness is moodiness. You are ruled by the moon, the fastest moving body in the sky, and it changes sign every 2.5 days. That rhythm lives inside you. Your emotional weather shifts quickly, sometimes without warning, and the people around you don't always know which version of you they're going to get. You might wake up warm and generous, then by afternoon feel bruised and withdrawn, and you can't always explain why. What's tricky is that you often don't recognize this as a pattern. You experience each mood as the full truth of the moment. So when you're low, it feels permanent. When you're hurt, it feels catastrophic. Imagine a partner who made plans with you 3 weeks ago. Nothing has changed. But on that day, your mood dips and suddenly you don't want to go. You cancel, they're disappointed, and now there's a tension you didn't intend to create. This happens more than you realize. Here's the shift. Keep a simple mood log for 30 days. Write 1 word each morning and 1 word each evening. No analysis, just the word. After a month, you'll start to see your own pattern, and that awareness alone will give you a fraction of a second to pause before you let the mood make the decision. The second weakness is clinging. Cancer is a cardinal sign, which means you initiate and move toward what you want. Combined with your water element, that drive goes inward, toward people, toward home, toward the ones you love. You don't just love people, you anchor to them. And when someone becomes important to you, letting them exist independently can feel threatening. You want to know where they are. You replay conversations looking for signs that the connection is still solid. When someone takes longer than usual to respond to a message, your mind doesn't wait. It starts writing a story. The real-life version of this looks like a friendship where you reach out constantly, track how long it takes them to reply, and then feel quietly resentful when they seem busy. You're not trying to control. You're trying to feel safe. But the effect on the other person is the same either way. This is what you can do. Before you send a second message, set a timer for 24 hours. Do something physical in that time. Walk, cook, clean. Let the timer run. This trains your nervous system to tolerate a gap without filling it with fear. The third weakness is living in the past. Of all 12 signs, you hold on to memory the longest. Water holds the shape of whatever it's been poured into, and you are no different. Old hurts, old conversations, old versions of people who have since changed. You keep them alive inside you with extraordinary detail. This isn't a flaw in your heart. It's a function of how deeply you feel things in the first place. But it becomes a problem when the past starts voting on your present decisions. You avoid a new opportunity because something similar went badly years ago. You hold a friend at arm's length because someone else let you down a decade ago. You punish a relationship for crimes it never committed. Picture yourself in a job interview for something you genuinely want. But the last time you put yourself out there, it didn't go well. So you go in small. You hedge. You don't let yourself want it too much, because wanting it felt dangerous before. That protection costs you more than the original wound did. Here is the shift. Write down 1 past event that still affects how you move through life. Then write 3 ways the current situation is factually different. Not emotionally different. Factually. Different people, different circumstances, different context. Read it out loud. This interrupts the brain's habit of treating memory as prediction. The fourth weakness is indirect communication. You feel things with tremendous intensity, but you often don't say what you actually need. Instead, you hint. You go quiet and wait for someone to notice. You pull back and then feel hurt when no one follows you in. This comes from a real fear of rejection and from a protective instinct that says if I don't ask, I can't be turned down. But what happens in practice is that the people who care about you don't know what you need, and you end up feeling unseen by people who would have helped if you'd only told them. Think about a time you were exhausted and overwhelmed. You didn't say, I need help this week. You just got quieter. You did everything with a tight jaw and expected someone to step in. When they didn't, it felt like proof that no one cared. But they weren't indifferent. They were uninformed. This is what you can do. Once this week, state one concrete need out loud in a full sentence. Not, "I've just been really tired lately," but "I need you to handle dinner on Thursday." The specificity is the point. Practice the specific ask, not the implication of one. The fifth weakness is self-protection that becomes self-isolation. The crab carries its home on its back. When threatened, it retreats inside. For you, retreat can look like canceling plans, going silent on people you love, or shutting a whole chapter of your life before anyone can hurt you first. This protective instinct kept you safe at some point. It served a real purpose. But if you use it reflexively, in situations that don't actually require it, you end up alone in a shell you built to keep pain out, and you wonder why connection feels so hard to find. Here's a recognizable version. Someone says something careless to you at a gathering. It wasn't meant cruelly, but it landed wrong. Instead of saying anything, you spend the rest of the night in your head. You go home early. You stop answering that person's messages. A month later, a good friendship is quietly on ice, and neither of you is entirely sure why. Here is the shift. The next time you feel the pull to withdraw, give yourself 48 hours before acting on it. Don't reach out and don't cut off. Just wait. Write down what you're feeling and what you would say if you weren't afraid. After 48 hours, decide. Most of the time, you'll find that the urge to disappear was fear talking, not wisdom. So which of these hit the closest to home? Was it the mood swings that you've tried to explain to people who don't quite get it? The clinging that you know is happening but can't seem to stop? The past that keeps showing up in your present? The needs you never quite say out loud? Or the retreating that costs you more than it protects you? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. And if any of this gave you something to think about, something real you can actually use, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a blessed day.